Hare Krishna. Welcome. We welcome all of our YouTube live listeners, all of our listeners over Facebook. We welcome all of you to this session 35 of Sri Bhagavatamrita. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Nama Pankajanabhaya Nama Pankajamaline Nama Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangraye Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Aradhya Bhagavan Vrajeshatanayas Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Pasana Vrajavadhu Vargena Vakalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumartho Mahan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhormadmidam Tatra Dharana Paraha Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Radhanatha Swami Niti Namine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swami Niti Namine Namacharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayine Gaurakatha Dhamadaya Nagaragramatarine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham karoti vachalam pangur langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurung Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna, again welcoming all of our amazing devotees on Facebook Live and on YouTube Live. Thank you all so much for your online association. So before we start our session 35, we would like to first acknowledge all the participants of the quiz from session 34. So from YouTube, we are very thankful to Hari Krishna Maddali, Vrindavani Mataji, Shweta Manjari Mataji, Shweta Surya Narayanan Mataji, and Reena Kamath Mataji. Thank you all for participating on YouTube. From Facebook, we'd like to thank these devotees for participating in the quiz. It's Meena Mataji, Ranjani Gopika Mataji, Swati Mataji, and Shweta Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you all so much for being with us here. For those of the Vaishnavas joining us from India, wishing all of you a very happy Dwadashi. For those of us in here in this part of the world, we are still having Ekadashi today. Today is Vyanjali Mahadwadashi according to Tithi, and it's actually fasting for Apara Ekadashi. So we're wishing all of you a very successful, very happy Ekadashi, Apara Ekadashi, very special Ekadashi today. So wishing all of you a very happy Ekadashi. So today we would like to cover chapters 9 through 12 from the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And we had shared in the WhatsApp groups, we had shared a survey form, and we would like to thank each and every devotee. We just shared it yesterday, and today we have lots and lots of responses. So we thank each and every one of you for taking time out and filling out this survey for us. It helps us to serve you better. So those of you who have not filled out the survey, we humbly request you to kindly fill in the survey again. It is in the WhatsApp groups, and we will be also sharing it here in today's YouTube live comments. We will share the survey form as well as on Facebook Live in today's video session. In the comments, we will share the survey form. So we request all of you to please let us know your feedback so that we can serve you better. So with that, we will start with chapter 9. It is entitled Appearance of the Demon Vritrasura. So Srila Shukadev Goswami, we heard in the end of chapter 8 how Vishwarupa, who was the temporary spiritual master, in place of Brihaspati, Brahma appointed Vishwarupa as the guru of the Devatas. And he had a very special role that he taught Indra and the Devatas the special Narayan Kavacha mantras. It's very, very special, unique mantras that we heard from last session. So now we will continue on with the story of Vishwarup and all the Devatas. So text 1 in this chapter starts with Srila Shukadev Goswami is saying that Vishwarup, who was engaged as the priest of the Devatas, had 3 heads. He used one to drink the beverage called somaras, another to drink wine, and the third to eat food. O King Parikshit, thus I have heard from authorities. Now Srila Prabhupada, he explains in the purport to this particular verse that we should not be confused when it is said that, oh, he's drinking wine? Wine? Oh, regulative principle, what happened? So we should not get confused by all of this, because Shukadev Goswami himself, he is saying that he is saying this as he has heard from the authorities. This he has said in the text itself. Shukadev Goswami is saying that I'm just saying what I have heard. So in the heavenly planets, Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that there are different kinds of drinks, different kinds of elixirs. Now, what we know as wine, which is an intoxicant, even Lord Balaram is said to get intoxicated by drinking a particular kind of beverage, which is called as Varuni. That is Lord Balaram's intoxication. Lord Nityananda's intoxication, do we know what Lord Nityananda's intoxicating beverage is? Lord Nityananda, he gets intoxicated when he just drinks simple, pure Ganga water. Just by drinking the water from the Ganges, Lord Nityananda gets intoxicated. So that is the level of these intoxications. Now, intoxicated, whether, it can mean 2 different things. You can either get intoxicated and forget Krishna. You can get illusioned, further illusioned, or you can get intoxicated in pure love of Krishna, as is the case with Lord Balaram, as is the case with Lord Nityananda. And these devatas, they used to drink, they not used to, they still drink these kind of heavenly beverages, which are very much intoxications, but that increases their kind of sense gratification. So we should not be confused by this kind of statement which is there in the Shastra. So this is how it is in the heavenly planet. So our concept of wine as an intoxication, which is, dried and aged and rotten grapes, is what we know as wine. But in the heavenly planets, wine is something much more. It's like an elixir. It's a very different kind of a beverage. So we should understand that difference. I just wanted to mention that. In text 2, Shukadev Goswami continues to say that the demigods were related to Vishwarupa from his father's side. But from his mother's side, Vishwarupa was related to the demons. So when Vishwarupa would offer oblations into the fire as sacrifice, he would do it for the devatas, and he would also do for the demons, for the asuras. So in text 4, it is said, Shukadev Goswami is saying that once upon a time, this is text 4, once upon a time, however, the king of heaven, Indra, understood that Vishwarupa was secretly cheating the demigods by offering oblations on behalf of the demons, for the demons. He became extremely afraid of being defeated by the demons, and in great anger at Vishwarupa, he cut off Vishwarupa's 3 heads from his shoulders. Indra committed again another Brahmahatya. So text 6 is saying that although Indra was so powerful that he could neutralize the sinful reactions for killing a Brahmana, he repentantly accepted the burden of these reactions with folded hands. See, this is the difference between a great personality and a common man. A great personality, when he commits any mistake, in a fit of rage, in a fit of anger, when they get pacified, they realize their mistake and they atone for their mistakes. They go through the sufferings of their mistakes. So here Indra, he actually suffered. It is said in text 6 that he suffered for 1 year, and then to purify himself, he distributed the reactions for this sinful killing among 4 personalities. Bhumi, the ocean, Samudra, or water, then there's trees and women. 4 personalities. So every one of these 4 personalities, they shared in 1/4 of the karma of the sinful reaction of Indra committing Brahma Hatya. So although Indra suffered for 1 year, he repented for 1 year, but still the offense was so great, the sin was so great. It was not an offense, it was a sin. The sin was so great that he needed some sharing to be done. So Indra had approached these 4 personalities, and they shared 1/4 of each of the karma from Indra. The earth, Bhumi Devi, she took 1/4, which is explained that it became like the deserts, that we see here on the planet Earth. All the desert became the sinful reactions that Bhumi Devi took. Why desert? Because nothing grows in the desert except for thorns. You cannot, have agricultural or pastoral grounds in the desert. You cannot render any kind of spiritual activity in the desert, it is said. So therefore, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he has said that those fortunate devotees, those who are sharing Krishna consciousness in the desert of this material world, I will take the dust of their lotus feet on my head. So the desert in this planet today is places like Middle East. So those devotees who are preaching in the Middle East, giving Krishna to others in the Middle East, in countries and regions like, in the desert, It's like oasis. That is the power, that is the potency of Krishna consciousness. That Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives such blessings to such, dearly devoted souls who are giving their life for, taking such big risks, so much risks to preach and share Krishna consciousness in such deserted, literally desert place in the Middle East and things like that. So anyways, Earth took the 1/4 of the sins in the form of desert. Water, water or samudra, or the water body itself, they took 1/4, and that came out as bubbles, or the foam in water is like the impurity in the water. It is considered to be the impure part of water. So bubbles or foam is the impure part, which is reflecting the sins that water took from Indra. The third one is the trees. The trees, when you pluck out a leaf or you pluck out a twig from like a branch, you see the sap coming out like a white gummy sap, it is sometimes very poisonous actually. So it is like the waste material from the tree that's going out, and that is considered to be the sin that the trees took from Indra, the sap that comes out from them. And the women took 1/4. So every month, the women have to undergo 3 to 4 days of difficulty when they are considered to be impure. And that time is considered to be the sin that they took on, the women, the mothers took on for relieving Indra from the sinful activity that he had committed of killing a Brahmana. So these are the 4 personalities who took this in different ways. So that is explained. This thing is explained from verses 7 to 10. This entire thing is explained in detail. Each of these verses are explained. Text 11 further explains that after Vishwarupa was killed, his father, Twashta, Vishwarupa's father was Twashta, he was very, very angry with Indra. So he performed ritualistic ceremonies to kill Indra. He offered oblations in the sacrificial fire, saying, "O enemy of Indra, flourish to kill your enemy without delay." So after Vishwarupa was killed, this Twashta, he became so angry that he did this kind of a sacrifice. But unfortunately, what happens is, if the mantras, even if there is a little bit of, the matras here and there in the mantras, it has a totally different effect. It has an opposite sometimes effect also. So this actually happened when Twashta performed this yagya. So while performing the sacrifice to kill Indra, Twashta chanted a mantra to increase Indra's enemies. But because that was his purpose, that he wanted to increase the enemies of Indra, but because he chanted the mantra in a wrong way, the sacrifice produced an asura named Vritrasura, of whom Indra became the enemy. So who was born as the enemy of Indra? So text 18 says, it describes Vritrasura, that very fearful demon who was actually, he came out as the son of Twashta. He covered all the planetary systems by dint of austerity. Therefore, he was named Vritra, means one who covers everything. Vritra means one who covers everything. So Vritrasura, he literally covered the entire creation by, his effulgence and his bodily luster and everything. So when Vritrasura was generated from the sacrifice, his fierce features made the entire world very, very, afraid of him. And his effulgence, his bodily effulgence, diminished even the power of the devatas. So finding no other means of protection, the demigods, they began to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the demigods worshipped because, they knew that in this situation, there's nobody other than the Supreme Lord who can actually save them or protect them. In text 44, the demigods, they are actually offering beautiful prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And one of the verses is, Text 44, where they're saying, therefore, O Lord, O Supreme Controller, O Lord Krishna, please annihilate this dangerous demon Vritrasura, Twashta's son, who has already swallowed all our weapons, all our paraphernalia for fighting, and our strength and influence. So text 46 says, Shukadev Goswami, he is saying that when Krishna, when the Lord listened to the ardent and sincere prayers of the demigods, he became very, very pleased. And then he replied to the demigods by saying that in text 47, the Lord said, O beloved demigods, you have offered your prayers to me with great knowledge, and I'm certainly most pleased with all of you. So, the Lord actually, in this context, when he's talking to the demigods, he is making a distinction. A very clear distinction is made by the Lord from text 47 through text 51. A very, very clear distinction is made by the Lord, who is a Sakam Bhakta, means a Bhakta with so many desires who come to Krishna, and who is a Nishkam Bhakta, who is a Bhakta with pure intentions, who doesn't want anything other than service to Krishna. So Krishna is saying here in text 47 that a person is liberated by such knowledge and thus remembers my exalted position, which is above the material conditions. Such a devotee is fully purified by offering prayers in full knowledge. 48 is saying, O best of the intelligent demigods, although it is true that nothing is difficult for one to obtain when I am pleased with him, a pure devotee whose mind is exclusively fixed upon me does not ask me for anything but the opportunity to engage in devotional service. So Krishna is saying here to the demigods that, my dear demigods, you came to me, no doubt. And you came to me and you offered very beautiful prayers to me in complete knowledge. You know my position, you know your position, you know everything. But still, you came to me with a material desire that you want that Vritrasura to be destroyed. But my pure devotees, although they know that I can fulfill all desires, still they have only one desire, that Krishna, please, please engage me in your devotional service. That is the only desire of pure devotees. Krishna is directly making this statement. Very, very powerful statement in text 48. And then Krishna goes on to say that, well, because you all have come to me, I won't send you disappointed. Akama sarva kamo va moksha kama udaradhi. Whether you come to me with any kind of desires, whatever it is, I will fulfill everything. So I will fulfill your desires too. Because I'm now relieved that you're asking for something. If you ask for bhakti, then I'm in trouble. Because if you ask for bhakti, then I have to give myself to you. So Krishna is saying in text 51, Krishna is saying, O Indra, all good fortune unto you. I advise you to approach this exalted saint called Dadhichi. He has become very accomplished in knowledge, vows and austerities, and his body is very strong. Go ask him for his body without delay. So, Indra said, okay, I will do that. And then they all the devatas, being thus instructed by the Lord, they come and approach Dadhichi. And then when Dadhichi hears that, this is what Indra wants, Dadhichi will give that to Indra. So before that, we actually come to the conclusion of this particular chapter in text 55, that when Vritrasura is killed, Krishna is saying, that when Vritrasura is killed because of my spiritual strength, you will all regain your strength, weapons, and wealth. Thus, there will be all good fortune for all of you. Although Vritrasura can destroy all the three worlds, do not fear that he will harm you. He is also a devotee and will never be envious of you. A mind-boggling statement by Krishna. Krishna is saying that this Vritrasura, this great demon, is actually a devotee. Krishna himself is saying that he is a devotee. This mind-boggling statement will be revealed in the future chapters. So please have patience. This brings us to chapter 10, which is entitled The Battle Between Demigods and Vritrasura. where it is said that after following the Lord's instructions, the demigods came to Dadichi and they told Dadichi knew what they had come for. And Dadichi immediately said, all right, first he actually joked with them that, oh, you know how difficult it is to give up my material body. You are asking me that you want, my body to make this, weapon. How can you ask this? So then the demigods, then they pacify Datichi and they say that, well, this body of yours, it is anyways material. You will go on to a spiritual body. So hearing this, Datichi just smiled and said, well, I was just testing you. I know you all are here under the orders of Lord Krishna himself. So I will definitely give up. Text 11 says that Dadhichi Muni, the son of Atharva, thus resolved to give his body to the service of the demigods. He placed himself, the spirit soul, at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and in this way gave up his gross material body made up of 5 elements with his own choice. Dadhichi gave up his own body by surrendering willingly to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then it is said in text 16 that thereafter, at the end of Satya Yuga and the beginning of Treta Yuga, a fierce battle took place between the demigods and the demons on the bank of the river Narmada. So this battle between the demigods and Vritrasura, all the demons, took place on the banks of the river Narmada in the cusp of Satya Yuga, at the end of Satya Yuga and the beginning of Treta Yuga. So then it's describing that how, dangerous battle actually started, that between the demigods and the demons, and Vritrasura was there. And when Vritrasura was seeing, that the demigods were actually getting very powerful because they had the Narayan Kavacha protection on them, and, they were somehow, defeating the demons. Vritrasura told the demons, do not flee, don't go away, that if you stay here in the battlefield and fight, you will attain the heavenly planets, because you all are like Kshatriyas. So don't go away from here. They were also afraid. They just went. They just were running here and there. So when this was happening, this is the end. This brings us to the end of chapter 10 and brings us to chapter 11, the transcendental qualities of Vritrasura. Now in this chapter, very, very mind-boggling thing is explained. That what Lord Krishna had confirmed in the end of chapter 9, that Vritrasura is actually a devotee, that here we are going to see how and why is he a devotee? We will see that later. But how is he a devotee? We are going to see that now. That when Vritrasura, it is explained in this text 13 of this chapter, that when Vritrasura saw Indra, who was his enemy, he was the killer of his brother. When he saw that he was standing before him with a thunderbolt in his hand, desiring to fright, Vritrasura remembered how Indra had so cruelly killed his brother Vishwarupa. And thinking of Indra's sinful activities, he became mad with anger and lamentation. And he spoke to Indra by saying, in text 14, Vritrasura is saying, he who has killed a Brahmana, he who has killed his spiritual master, indeed, you have killed my brother. You are standing here by good fortune. You are standing here as my enemy. You are the most abominable one. And when I pierce your stone-like heart with my trident, I shall be freed from the debt to my brother. So then Vritrasura continued to say, imagine the anger that Vritrasura was feeling in his heart for Indra. But even though when he was feeling this kind of hatred, anger towards Indra, Vritrasura said very, very special things to Indra. He said, if one is a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, and depends on Lord Vishnu in every respect, then victory, opulence, and peace of mind are all inevitably available. Vijaya Shri, This is what even Sanjaya declares. Tatra Shri Vijaya Bhutir Dhruvanitir Matir Mama. That wherever there is Krishna, there is bound to be victory. So Vritrasura is telling Indra that the Supreme Lord is so kind that he especially favors a devotee by not giving him opulence that will hamper his devotional service. Therefore, I know that Krishna has favored you, that you went and approached Krishna and he has favored you by sending you to Dadhichi. And because Dadhichi, he is the son of Atharva and he knows the Narayan Kavacha mantras. So his body was always protected by the Narayan Kavacha mantras. And that body now you have got as this weapon. And that weapon, Lord Vishnu has already said that that weapon is going to kill me. And that's perfectly okay for me because you went to Krishna with a material desire to kill me. But I am not going to do that. I wish, what do I wish? Vritrasura is telling Indra, I wish to give up everything for the service of the Lord. I wish always to chant the glories of the Lord and engage in his service. Let me become unattached to my worldly friendship and let me just make friendship with the devotees of the Lord. I do not desire to be promoted to the higher planetary systems, even to Dhruvaloka or Brahmaloka, nor do I desire unconquerable position within this material world. I do not need such things. These are the comments of a demon, Vritrasura. Although he was feeling such great anger towards Indra for killing his brother, he was like the guru for Indra. But still, when Vritrasura was talking to Indra, at first he was really, really angry. And in that anger, he said, I will kill you. I will kill you. But as soon as he said that, and his anger was vented out, Vritrasura composed himself and he came to know it was revealed in his mind. How it was revealed, why it was revealed, we will come to know in a little while. It's a mystery, very sweet mystery. But he was revealed that the Lord is siding Indra just to fulfill the material desire of Indra. And Vritrasura had this realization that I do not want anything material from the Lord. And this is the reason why when Krishna was pleased with the demigods, when they were offering their prayers to Krishna, Krishna made this distinction between these two classes of devotees. Those who approach Krishna with material desires like the demigods did, and Vritrasura, although in a demon body, but a pure devotee, a first-class genuine Vaishnava. What made Vritrasura so special? In the purport to verse 22, Srila Prabhupada says, both Indra and Vritrasura were certainly devotees of the Lord because both of them came to Krishna. Both of them, knew that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So therefore, both of them are devotees. Although Indra took instructions from Lord Krishna how to kill Vritrasura, the Lord was actually more favorable to Vritrasura because after being killed by Indra's thunderbolt, Vritrasura would go back home, back to Godhead, whereas the victorious Indra would rot in this material world. This is the statement of Srila Prabhupada, that Indra, although the king of heaven, he would still rot in this material world. So we should be so careful as devotees when we approach the Supreme Lord. Let us not ask the Lord for any material desires. That is what we should learn from this particular chapter. That Indra, he knew that he was going to approach the Supreme Lord. But he asked the Lord very specifically, I want to destroy Vritrasura, I want to kill Vritrasura, so that my position is re-established as the king of heaven. Krishna said, Tathastu. So we don't want Krishna to say tathastu to our material desires. We should actually ask Krishna that, Krishna, please let me get rid of all my material desires. The only thing that I desire is Gopi Bhartu Pada Kamalayor Dasa Dasa Dasanadas. That let me just be the servant of the servant of the servant of your devotees, of the gopis, of the Vrajavadhus. That is my only desire. I just want to serve my spiritual master life after life after life, just to remain as a particle of dust at his lotus feet. There's a very beautiful story in this regard. In Vrindavan, especially, it is said that anyone who remembers Krishna, Krishna appears like that in front of them. So there was this very old lady, she was carrying a big bunch of sticks in her on her head, and she was so tired she just put the sticks down and she said, "Oh Krishna, please help me." And immediately Krishna was there. He said, "Yes Maya, what can I do for you?" He said, "Can you please take that bundle of sticks and put it on my head?" Krishna said, "Yes, of course." And he picked up that bundle of sticks and put it on that mother's head, and she went. Do we really want to do that? Do we want to be in that position, that we are asking for Krishna, that Krishna, please put that burden of, trouble of material desires on our head? Do we really want that from Krishna? Or rather, when Krishna appears in front of us as the holy name, when we chant the holy names, each syllable, when it comes out from our mouth, are we able to relish that Krishna is literally dancing on our tongue, like he danced on the hoods of Kaliya? That is the kind of anusmarana that we need to have. This is what is being taught here by Srila Prabhupada, that Indra is going to rot in this material world, whereas Vritrasura, although in the demon body, he is going back home, back to Godhead, because of this spiritual attitude that he has, that he wants nothing material. He only wants pure devotional service to Krishna in the association of devotees. That is exactly what Vritrasura is saying. So Srila Prabhupada continues to say that because both of them were devotees, the Lord awarded them the respective benedictions that they wanted. Vritrasura never wanted material possessions, for he knew very well the nature of these possessions. Srila Prabhupada is very, very clear. So the last 3 verses of this chapter is showing the transcendental position. Shukadev Goswami is narrating the transcendental position of Vritrasura, how he is so beautifully surrendering himself to Krishna. Text 25 is saying, "O my Lord, source of all opportunities, I do not desire to enjoy in Dhruvaloka, the heavenly planets, or the planets where Lord Brahma resides, nor do I want to be the supreme ruler of all the earthly planets or the lower planetary systems. I do not desire to be the master of the powers of mystic yoga, nor do I want liberation if I have to give up your lotus feet." Which means he's saying that I don't want Ashtasiddhi, I don't want moksha, I don't want anything. I just want your lotus feet. Text 26, "O lotus-eyed Lord, as baby birds that have not yet developed their wings always look for their mother to return and feed them, as small calves tied with ropes await anxiously the time of milking, when they will be allowed to drink the milk of their mothers, or as a morose wife whose husband is away from home always longs for him to return and satisfy her in all respects, I always yearn for the opportunity to render direct service unto you." 3 beautiful instances of the baby bird. That is the first example. The second example is of the calf, who's so eager to take the milk from the mother. Baby bird getting so eager to be fed by the mother bird. And third, of the morose wife who awaits of her husband to come home and to satisfy her in all respect. So in that way, we need to have that yearning to be satisfied in direct service to Krishna. And the last verse of this chapter says, Vritrasura is saying that, "Oh my Lord, my master, I am wandering throughout this material world as a result of my fruitive activities. Therefore, I simply seek friendship in the association of your pious and enlightened devotees. My attachment to my body, wife, children, and home is continuing by the spell of your external energy, but I wish to be attached to them no longer. Let my mind, my consciousness, and everything I have be attached only to you. Such beautiful, purified prayers of Vritrasura, making him get that position of an exalted, pure Vaishnava. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, Manasha deho geho jo kichu more Orpinu tu apade Nanda Kishore. I offer everything, Manasho Deho Geho. My mind, my deha, everything that is connected with my body and my body, I offer everything to you, O Krishna. Hey Nanda Kishore, I offer everything to you. Such a beautiful bhajan Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written, and that is exactly what this Vritrasura, demon Vritrasura, is speaking here. Which brings us to chapter 12, Vritrasura's glorious death. This chapter describes how Indra, the king of heaven, killed Vritrasura despite great reluctance. Indra was reluctant to kill Vritrasura. We'll find out in a little while why Indra was reluctant to kill Vritrasura. So this chapter describes how both Indra and Vritrasura are constantly fighting. And Vritrasura, he released his trident against King Indra with great anger. But Indra, using his thunderbolt, he broke the trident to pieces and he cut off Vritrasura's one of his arms. Nevertheless, Vritrasura used his remaining arm to strike Indra with an iron mace, making the thunderbolt fall from Indra's hand. And Indra, at this time, he was feeling very humiliated because the weapon fell from his hand. It's like, defeat. So he was very ashamed. He did not pick up the thunderbolt from the ground, but Vritrasura, he encouraged Indra and he said that, pick it up, Indra, pick up your thunderbolt and fight with me. And Vritrasura then spoke to Indra in the following way. From text 6 to 17 of this chapter, Vritrasura spoke to Indra, giving him beautiful instructions. Imagine, Vritrasura is speaking to Indra, giving him instructions. So, Vritrasura is saying, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of victory and defeat. Look at the language with which Vritrasura is speaking. He's saying the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of victory and defeat, not knowing that the Supreme Lord is the cause of all causes. Fools and rascals try to take credit for victory or defeat themselves, but everything is actually under the control of the Lord. When one understands, however, that the real controller is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is freed from the relativities of the world, such as distress, happiness, fear, and impurity. So text 18, Shukadev Goswami is saying that hearing such straightforward, instructive words from Vritrasura, King Indra praised him and again took the thunderbolt in his hand. Without bewilderment or duplicity, he then smiled and spoke to Vritrasura as follows. So from text 19 to 22, Indra is glorifying the pure and exalted position of Vritrasura. And imagine all this is happening in the battlefield. They are glorifying and talking about pure devotional service. We'll see what Indra says. Indra is saying in text 19 that, oh great demon, I see by your discrimination and endurance in devotional service, despite your dangerous position, that you are a perfect devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Indra was confused. So text 21, Indra is going on saying that, O Vritrasura, demons are generally conducted by the mode of passion. Therefore, what a great wonder it is that although you are a demon, you have adopted the mentality of a devotee and have fixed your mind on the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva, who is always situated in pure goodness, just like all of us. Aren't we all shocked that how come this demon is talking this kind of language of a pure devotee? So Srila Prabhupada says in the purport to this particular verse, this is verse 21. So Srila Prabhupada is saying in the purport that King Indra, he is wondering that how Vritrasura could have been elevated to the position of an exalted devotee. Indra was thinking in his mind that as for Prahlad Maharaj, we know that he was initiated by Narad Muni in the womb while he was in the womb of Kayadu. He heard the instructions of Narad Muni in the womb of Kayadu. So although he was born as the great demon Hiranyakashipu's son, Prahlad was from a demoniac family. But he's a pure devotee because he did get his instructions from Narad Muni. So for Indra, it was bewildering that for Vritrasura, however, Indra could not detect such causes. Indra was totally confused, just like all of us are. Therefore, he was struck with wonder, Prabhupada is writing, that he was struck with wonder that Vritrasura was such an exalted devotee that he could fix his mind without deviation upon the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Vasudeva. So Indra was bewildered, totally bewildered. So this was the kind of conversation that both of them were having on the battlefield. Then, anyways, they continued fighting because Vritrasura kept challenging Indra. And then Indra severed Vritrasura's the other arm too. He just cut off the other arm. Then Vritrasura, he assumed a gigantic form. And he just put his, the lower jaw on the earth and the upper jaw almost touched the sky. And he just engulfed Indra. So Indra was like swallowed by Vritrasura. And as soon as Indra was swallowed by Vritrasura, Indra was protected by Narayan Kavacha. So he was able to protect himself even within the body of Vritrasura. And thus he emerged from Vritrasura's abdomen and severed the demon's head from his body with his powerful thunderbolt. Severing the demon's head took Indra 1 complete year to accomplish. Text 34 says, when Vritrasura was killed, the Gandharvas and the Siddhas in the heavenly planets, they beat, kettle drums in jubilation. They showered flowers on Indra. Jai ho, Jai ho. Everyone was so happy. And text 35, the last verse of this chapter says, Shukadev Goswami is saying that, O King Parikshit, subduer of enemies, the living spark then came forth from Vritrasura's body and returned home back to Godhead. While all the demigods looked on, he entered the transcendental world to become an associate of Lord Sankarshan. So we can understand that without, any kind of doubt, that the supreme destination of Vritrasura is that he went back home, back to Godhead. While Indra, he was still rotting in this material world because of his desires, because of their individual desires. We can see how powerful desires can be. So we need to, direct our desires in the proper channel. We need to channelize our desires so that they are in proper tune with the desire of Guru and Krishna. Then we will be safe, like Vritrasura. But however, there's a big doubt in all of our minds that, what was the special credit of Vritrasura? That he is a demon, but although with the consciousness of a pure Vaishnava, although he was in this body of this demon. So we request you to have some patience because this will be revealed in tomorrow's session by Prabhu. So please stay tuned to listen to who Vritrasura actually is. So we will end our session here. If there's any comments, questions, or reflections, we can take that now. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So we will take some questions, but before that, we have the quiz. We have the quiz session for today. We have 10 questions. So 10 questions of the first one is, how many heads did Vishwarupa have? Second, why did Indra cut Vishwarupa's heads? Third, who all did Indra share his sin of Brahma Hatya with? Fourth, what was the name of Vishwarupa's father? Fifth, what is the meaning of Vritra? Sixth, on the banks of which river did the battle take place between the demigods and Vritrasura? Seven, whose son was Dadhichi? Eighth, what was the main difference between the prayers of Vritrasura and prayers of Indra and the demigods? Ninth, why did Indra become hesitant to kill Vritrasura? 10th, how long did it take for Indra to sever Vritrasura's head? So, with this, we will take some questions. I see there are some questions from Venkatapati Prabhu. One would expect the battle between Vritrasura and demigods would happen in the heavenly planets. How come the battle happened on Earth? How do we understand? There's nothing, no difficulty in understanding this, because it is said that the demigods and the demons, they can choose to actually appear anywhere. They can choose to have battle anywhere. Sometimes they have battle in different parts of creation. So this time they chose to have the battle in, in on Earth, on the river bank. So it's their choice wherever they choose to desire to fight. So there's no fixed thing that they should always fight in the heavenly kingdoms, or they should fight in the lower planetary systems. There's the entire world is their playground. Basically, the material world is their playground, and they can choose any place to fight. So hope that answers your question, Prabhu. Then we have any other question? Yes. From Keshavi, Indra knows Vritrasura is a devotee, then why he did not change his mind not to kill, because he already killed his brother and shared his sins with earth, water, women, and trees. Why did Indra kill? Because if he would not kill Vritrasura, then the demigods would not be able to get their positions back. You see? Because the demigods wanted their position, they wanted their powers, which was all taken away by Vritrasura. Vritrasura had occupancy of all their weapons, all the prowess, and all the charisma of the demigods. He was in possession of all of that. So although Indra knew, that's why he hesitated, to kill Vritrasura. But he wanted to kill Vritrasura. He had to kill Vritrasura because he was attached to his material position. Simple. So that was the reason why he was forced to kill, Vritrasura. In fact, that was the reason why he also killed Vishwarupa. He killed Vishwarupa because, the reason why Vishwarupa was appointed as the guru for the demigods is that the demigods had actually already lost their kingdom once. I mean, many times they've lost, but that particular time they had already lost their kingdom to the demons. And when the demons, they, fought, the demigods didn't have any power to fight back. So that's why Brahma advised that Vishwarup should come and teach the demigods Narayan Kavacha mantras. So then, reciting the Narayan Kavacha mantras, the demigods became powerful, and they defeated the demons, and they occupied again the heavenly planets. But then Indra saw that this Vishwarup, he is also offering oblations into the fire for the well-being of the demons. So fearing that again the demons would become powerful and take away his kingdom again, that's why he killed Vishwarup. You see, Indra is always insecure of his position. He does anything and everything to keep his position strong because he's very attached to his position as the king of the Devatas. That is his poor fortune. That is his poor fortune, that he is really attached to his position. And he can go up to any extent to do and to safeguard his position. That's why he killed Vishwarupa, and now he killed Vritrasura also. So I hope that answers your question, Keshavi. Very nice question. Next, we have a question from dear Manjari. Hare Krishna Mataji. Even though demigods like Indra is a devotee of Lord, then why he commits sins to kill someone to maintain his position, and why still lords always favor the demigods? Um, the Lord tries to teach the demigods also, the Lord tries to teach them, like how when the Lord was, before giving the demigods any kind of answer that how they can win over Vritrasura, what did Krishna tell them? Krishna told them that you are coming to me with a material desire, but what do pure devotees ask? Pure devotees ask only for my devotional service. Krishna is telling that directly. But still Indra is saying, no, 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 I want to kill Vritrasura. I want to do this. This is my desire. So what can Krishna do? Krishna says tathastu. And he favors them. In spite of having material desires, they have taken shelter of Krishna. And Krishna says, those who come to me for bhukti, for material desires, I will fulfill that. If I know that that's going to be beneficial for them, then I will fulfill that. But if anyone comes for bhakti, then, I reconsider it and I test that person. So, because if I have to give bhakti, then I have to give myself to them. So, hope that answers your question, Manjari. Okay, we have a question from Raji Mataji, that when Vritrasura was highly elevated, why he didn't take it as karma, instead he got angry and ready to fight? Well, because he was in the form of a demon, he was an asura, and that's why the anger, really predominated him, and he knew that this was the way that he is actually going to go back home, back to Godhead. He knew that, because Lord Vishnu, Krishna has instructed Indra that, by the instructions that Indra was following to kill Vritrasura, that instruction of Krishna was non-different from Krishna himself. So Vritrasura knew that this way only he can actually go back home, back to Godhead. So that's why he continued what he did. So I hope that answers your question, Raji Mataji. Is Vritrasura a person who remembered his previous life? We will find that out, Prajvani. Thank you for the nice question. Please stay tuned for tomorrow's session. We will find that out tomorrow, that whether Vritrasura remembered his previous life, what happened, everything we will find out. So please, stay tuned for tomorrow's session. Please have some patience. You will be getting the answer to this. So we have another question from Raji Mataji. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says we have to be servant of the servant, and Krishna says Madhurya Rasas, so which one we have to desire? Krishna says servant of the servant. Well, the gopis themselves, Krishna says Madhurya Rasa. I never quite understood that. But the thing is that when we are serving Krishna, whether we are serving in Madhurya Ras or Dasya Ras, even in Madhurya Ras, we are serving as a servant. The gopis, when they serve Krishna in Madhurya Ras, they actually present themselves as the maid servants. They in fact say to Krishna that we are your Ashulka Dasikas. Ashulka means we are not just your maid servants. Maid servants means those who come to our home and do service, right? They're called maids. So we give them something in return. But the gopis, they are saying that we are your Ashulka Dasika in the Gopi Geet. They're saying that we don't even take shulka, means we don't take mulya, we don't take any remuneration for the services that we are doing to you, O Krishna. We are your ashulka dasikas. So this is the mood of the gopis. The gopis also, they don't consider themselves just to be the paramours of Krishna, but they are actually, the gopis are the perfect servitors of Krishna. They are in that mood of rendering service to Krishna. So the service doesn't mean that, bonded labor, being servant doesn't really mean that they are bonded laborers, means, that, there is something like, they're tied with ropes and they are, beaten with whips and all that, and that is called a servant. That is not really being a servant. Servant means one who is, willingly doing some service to the Lord for the satisfaction of the Lord. That is called being service to the Lord, doing service to the Lord as maids. Like the gopis, they are actually saying this. In the second verse of the Gopi Gita, the gopis are saying, they are singing so beautifully in the Gopi Gita, they're saying, Sharadudashaye साधु जात सात शरषि जोडरा श्रीमुषादृशा सुरतनाथ ते अशुल्कदासिका वरदनिघ्नतो नेहा किं वधा. So this is Ashulka Dasika, that we, whether we are on Madhurya Ras or on Dasya Ras, we are always servant of Krishna. And this is the mood of Srimati Radharani. Radharani is always considering herself to be the servant of the servant. That's why she's engaging everybody in the service of Krishna. That, I am not qualified to serve Krishna, but whoever is serving Krishna very nicely, please come forward and serve Krishna. That is Srimati Radharani's mood, engaging all of us in service to Krishna. So I hope that answers your question, Raji Mataji. We have a question on Facebook from Shamala Gopika. Thank you for the wonderful. Thank you, Shamala, for your beautiful comment. Regarding material desire, if child or lovable one becomes sick, immediately we'll go to Krishna to protect them. Mean we need to be protected so they can be with us in this material world. This is also material desire. How do we need to react in this situation? Well, it is very natural, when our loved ones are in trouble, to pray for them, is not, it is material desire, no doubt about it. But Srila Prabhupada, he taught us how to pray to Krishna. When Srila Prabhupada got sick, that time, the devotees, actually disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they asked Prabhupada, can we pray for you? That, Krishna should make you stay for more longer time with us. Can we pray to Krishna for that? Srila Prabhupada said, yes, please pray. Please pray, but before you make your prayer, before you make your desire, before you make your request to Krishna, please add a prefix. O Krishna, if you so desire, please fulfill this desire of mine. Then Krishna will do what is best for us. This is how Srila Prabhupada, our Acharya, has taught us. So there is nothing wrong in praying for our loved ones, but please use the prefix that, my dear Krishna, if you so desire, please help me. Take care of this particular devotee, or this, loved one of mine is in trouble. Please help. So I hope that answers your question, Shamala. Raji, I'm really glad that this helped you in answering your question. We have another question from Trilokini Sakhi Mataji. Question. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned, this is in Bengali. So why Krishna always gives material benedictions to the demigods? Bhukti, sorry, Mukti, Shri Shukhi, Shaikil. I'm not able to read the Bengali that Trilokini Sakhi Mataji you have written. I read a few. I'm not so fluent in reading Bengali, but I can read a few words. It takes me time to read, so I apologize for that. But you're asking that why Krishna always gives material benedictions to the demigods. He gives material benedictions to the demigods because that's what they desire. If the demigods would desire something else, then Krishna would give that something else to the demigods. But because the demigods are only desiring material benedictions, Krishna is fulfilling that. Whatever the demigods are desiring, Krishna is fulfilling that. And sometimes the desire is not fulfilled by Krishna because he probably wants to satisfy or to take care of the pride that the demigods may have, like in the case of Indra. Indra wanted that, he gets the yagya done every year from the Brajbasis and from people of the earth. But Krishna came and stopped it because he wanted to curb the pride of Indra. So that is the reason why we need to understand that Krishna, he is so merciful that he actually gives us what we actually want. He doesn't always give us what we want, but he gives us what we need. That is Krishna. If we surrender to him, if that is a very given condition. If we demand from Krishna, Krishna, give me this, give me that, he may give it. But if we are willingly surrendering to Krishna, that Krishna, I am having these, buckets and buckets of desires. I don't know if it's good for me or if it's bad for me, but please, Krishna, you do whatever you think is best for me. That is surrender. Then Krishna will do what he thinks is best. But if we are not asking Krishna to do that, then why will he do what we are not asking him to do, So because the demigods are desiring that, that's why he is going on fulfilling that. So hope that answers your question. Ami biggo সেই মূর্খে বিষয় কেনে দিব স্বচরণামৃত দিয়া বিষয় ভুলাইব. That's what you have said. Okay. Yes. Shacharnamrita diya bishoy bhulaibo. Thanks to my mother for giving me the translation. Thank you, Ma. So, yes, but, for the demigods, Shacharnamrita diya bishoy bhulaibo, that one happens to pure devotees who actually want that Krishna take that action in their life. They have to desire that. So therefore, if they have only their desire, which is acting, that Indra was saying, come what may, Krishna, come what may, I want to kill Vritrasura. I want to regain my position as the king of heaven. That was the desire of Indra. He didn't say, oh Krishna, please do what you feel is best. This Vritrasura has now taken my kingdom, and all of us, we don't know what to do, so you tell us what to do. If Indra would have said that to Krishna, Krishna's response would have probably been very different. Then we can say that, yes, Shacharnamrita deya bishai bhulaibo. Then we can say that. But otherwise, it's very difficult for us to just sit back and say that, oh, why can't Krishna just, then Krishna can do that to any materialistic person. He can give Charnamrita to anyone and, make them forget all their material desires. But Krishna, is not selfish. He is not wanting for us to just give it up just because he wants us to give it up. He definitely wants us to give it up, but he wants us to do it with our own desire, with our free will. We want to surrender to Krishna. Krishna wants our love when we are using our free will to surrender lovingly to Krishna. That's what Krishna wants. So I hope this answers your question, Trilokini Sakhi Mataji. Very nice question. We have a question from Janeshwar Gauranga Prabhu. Apart from Brahma and Lord Shiva, are the rest of the demigods considered Sakam devotees? Well, actually, even Lord Brahma, he is considered to be a Sakam devotee, except for Lord Shiva. Everyone else, even Lord Brahma, is considered to be a Sakam devotee. So, hope that answers your question, Prabhu. And I'm very happy through Lokini Sakhi Mataji that your question was answered. Thank you for your comment. So, with this, I think there is no more questions. Again, we thank each and every one of you for joining us online and for giving us your online association. We look forward to seeing you all tomorrow again with another session to relieve our confusion, to take care of our confusion that we had today with who is actually Vritrasura. So stay tuned for tomorrow's session. We'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON Vartaman Guru Vrind ki jai. Jai Nitai Gaur Sitanath Premanande. Hari 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 Bo. Hare Krishna.